Hello everyone and welcome to the hands-on demo on AWS Web Application Firewall. So in this demo we will create a simple web application using Amazon S3. We will set up Amazon CloudFront to serve the S3 website. Then we will create an AWS Web Application Firewall Web ACL access control list. Then we will configure WAF rules to block SQL injection and cross-site scripting attacks. Then finally we'll associate the web ACL with our CloudFront distribution. We'll test the whole WAF setup and finally we'll clean up the resources. So first is to create an S3 bucket. So I'll log into AWS console. So I'm at console home and search for S3. Click on S3. So this will be the bucket name. Create bucket. I'll paste the bucket name. And general purpose, ACLs disabled, and make sure you unselect block all public access. And rest all is fine. Click on create bucket. Okay, so you have to select I acknowledge that the current settings might result in this bucket and objects within becoming public. So it has created the bucket. So we have done all these settings. Now I will upload this index.html. So I copy the HTML. And save this HTML on my desktop. So if I just do index.html, so the file is saved to my desktop and I will upload this file. So on the S3 bucket, click on the bucket and click on upload, add files. I'll pick the file and click on upload. So the upload is successful. Now I have to enable static website hosting because I'll be hosting this index.html through my S3 bucket. So for this you have to go to the bucket and go to the properties, and if you just scroll down, there is an option of static website hosting. So click on edit, enable, and host a static website. Type in the whatever is your HTML page. So I'll just say index.html. And that's all. Save changes. So I have successfully enabled static website hosting. So we have done this setting. And now I have to create a bucket policy which will allow the objects to be publicly available through the HTTP endpoint. So for this I have to paste in this bucket policy. So I copy the whole bucket policy and go to the buckets, and under permissions, under bucket policy, click on edit. So I'll paste the bucket policy and save changes. So I have to put in the bucket name. So I'll just say WAF demo. And click on save changes. So I have successfully added the bucket policy. So make sure you change the bucket. Also, when you are following this demo, you may have to give some other random number at the end because it's universally unique, the bucket names. And now you will get an object URL which you can directly access. So if I go to the objects and click the index.html, there is an object URL. So if I click and open link in a new tab, so my web page is now being statically web hosted. Now I will create a CloudFront distribution that will be serving. So the whole point is CloudFront will help us distribute and optimize so that there is a less latency and it will be cached at the edge locations. So I'll search for CloudFront. I'll open this service in a new tab. And when I create the CloudFront distribution, I have to select the S3 bucket. So create CloudFront distribution and choose the origin. So CloudFront will allow us to either you point the backend can be S3, Elastic Load Balancer, API Gateway, Media Store, Media Package, and Media Package v2. So I'll just pick one of the bucket and origin path. So this one is saying this it automatically has figured out that static website hosting is enabled, so you can use website endpoint because that is index.html. So I say okay, HTTP only, and rest all is fine, and the name for the origin is automatically being taken from the bucket name. And no other setting change, and viewer protocol policy. So make sure you select redirect HTTP to HTTPS. So only one change, and rest all is fine. And this is by default you have to select one of this web application firewall. So we will be manually making these changes so that we know much better how to add the rules, web ACLs, and how to use your own custom rules. So just select this one and we'll add this manually. Create distribution. So this will go ahead and create the distribution. Next we will be adding WAF web ACLs. So for this I will go to the WAF service. So this is under WAF and Shield. So create web ACL, and resource type I can say CloudFront distributions. So this will be global because CloudFront is a global resource. Paste the name of web ACL and associated AWS resources. So I'll add it now. So it will show all the list of CloudFront. I'll just pick the one. So we are saying that with this web ACL access control list will be associated with this particular CloudFront distribution, and click on next. So herein you add the rules and rule groups. So we'll add some managed rule groups, and we will add 3 managed rule groups which are IP reputation list, core rule set, and known bad inputs. So click on add rules. This is managed rule groups which are managed by AWS. Under AWS managed rule groups, Amazon IP reputation list, core rule set, and known bad inputs, and click on add rules. So these 3 are managed rule groups. Next we'll add custom rule. So add my own rules and rule groups. So you will be taken to rule builder, and you have to give a rule a name. So first rule I call is block SQL injection. It will be a regular rule. So, and this will be like if condition, if inspect query string, if inspect all query parameters contain SQL injection attacks. So if all query parameters and match type is contains SQL injection attacks. So it is under there too contains SQL injection attacks, and no text transformation, and action will be to block because it is containing SQL injection, and click on add rule. Now we will add one more rule builder and rule name. So this is called as block cross-site scripting. Paste. Inspect all query parameters and XXS and block add rule. So we have added our two own rules. So this is how it looks like, and click on next. And if you want to change the rule priority, you can change. So I'll click on next. No, so how you change is you select one and you can either move up or move down. So I don't need make any change, just say click next. And these are the matrix, CloudWatch metric. Click on next and review and create WebACL. So it has successfully created the WebACL. So you can actually associate later also. So once it is created, if you click demo WebACL, so once you have created, you can always add some more resources if you want. Now we will test it. So first is to directly access our CloudFront. So if I go to CloudFront, so let me refresh because it's saying deploying. CloudFront takes some time because it has to distribute to all your edge locations. So I'll take the distribution name and open a new tab, and okay, so it is now serving the traffic through the CloudFront. So this is different, and the one which I showed here this is static website hosting. This is slightly different, and this is through CloudFront. Next we will test it out. We will test out our cross-site scripting attack, and what I am saying is this is the query input parameters, and this is just trying to run a script which is having JavaScript, which is having alert pop-up. So I take this and paste it here, and what I need to do is replace the this actual name. So come here and replace the first part. So it is 403 error unauthorized because it could not be request blocked, and it is generated by CloudFront. So if I go and see, it may take some time. At the web application via firewall, there should be some blocked request can be seen on the dashboard. So let me try now. So if I go to traffic overview, so it takes some time because it is this data shows up after some time. In the meantime, I can just try to hit few more times. and as you can see, this one is blocked. So there are a couple of requests, but one is blocked and 10 were allowed. So next I will try to do a SQL injection attack, even though we don't have any database, but this will try to simulate something like this. So usually what happens in the database, like you have a query parameters, and if the application program is poorly written, it will let you directly access the database and run query. So sometimes it will be like, it will sometimes like a password equal to something or condition, or delete something from database. There are a lot of variation in terms of SQL injection attacks. This is just trying to say just sleep the database for 5 seconds. So I'll copy the whole thing, paste, and copy the whole CloudFront URL and replace. So this is also again it is unauthorized, because we are trying to simulate a SQL injection attack, and this number will change. The number of blocked requests will be visible as more and more malicious attacks are launched. It will you can see all the data, right? How many? So you can see 3 are blocked. So finally we'll clean up all the resources. So first is to delete the WebACL. So under here, demo WebACL, and go to WebACLs, select it, delete, and type in delete. So we have to disassociate first. So I click this and associated AWS resources, select and disassociate. So now if I try, it should let me delete. So WebACL is deleted. Now I will disable and delete the CloudFront distribution. So first select it and disable. So now it is undeploying from all location. So if I select this, so it is, after some time I should be able to delete it. I will empty the S3 bucket. So I go to S3. First I have to delete this object. So object actions. Okay, so I'll just go to the bucket and select this and delete, and type in, copy paste this. So now I should be able to delete the bucket. So I select the bucket and click on delete, copy paste the bucket name, delete bucket. Okay, and now I'll try to delete the CloudFront distribution because it was undeploying. So it is disabled, and if I just click refresh, okay, still not yet, but I will be deleting it after a few minutes. So make sure if you are following this demo, you come back and delete this. And that's all. Thanks for watching.